Good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen of the media and Bristol City fans watching both in the UK and overseas. Welcome to our press conference. I'm going to hand over to Bristol City Chairman John Lansdown.
Welcome everybody. Just want to say thank you for the media for coming down to Ashton Gate, and thank you for supporters who are joining us online. I hope you'll join me in welcoming Gerhard to Bristol City Football Club.
Yeah, also from my side, hello together. It's a very good moment to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. The new head coach, I am very excited to go the way from now on with Bristol City.
I'm sure we've got lots of questions, so I'm going to hand over to Richard Hoskin from BBC Radio Bristol. Richard, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Gerhard. It's lovely to meet you. A big welcome to Bristol City Football Club. What made you think this was the best next step for you in your managerial and coaching career, Bristol City?
Yeah, I think the style of play helps a lot. I think the last few months, or I would say the last few years, the club Bristol City grow in a very good direction, and the style of play what they create, I think it's a very good fit with me, with my DNA, and I think this can be a very good match, and this convinced me very quick. Also, of course, the conversation with John, with Brian, to go together and make the next necessary steps with an amazing group of players.
You inherit a squad that reached the end of season playoffs in the Championship last season. What are your ambitions for Bristol City now that you've replaced Liam Manning?
Yeah, I think that we make the next steps. Of course, we know we have a young group of players. We want to do everything that we make our style of play very clear, for every single players, and on the way what we want to go, that we developed, especially with our strong academy, that we always bring and give young players a chance to develop also in the first team, and on the same time to create results. This is something where I have a big experience to integrate and develop young players, and this is important, achieve in the end the goals. And the goal is, of course, that we will bring the group further in this process where they are, and what we plan to be in the next few months, or especially the year where we come out. But we are very ambitious to do it on the right way.
And what struck me reading the press release was about the young players and the academy. How important is that to you, that homegrown players get an opportunity in your first team?
Yeah, I think this is a mission for myself to bring and integrate young players in the first team. On the same time, it's important that they deliver. So this is not a romantical plan. So they have to invest, they have to deliver, and when they do it on the right way, they get chances, especially from me.
John, why have you appointed Gerhard as your new head coach? I think he's answered most of that for me, to be honest. Look, he's touched upon it there. We've taken a view over a number of years here where, academy-wise, we've been looking at playing in a more intense way, a more pressing way. So that's gone through how we develop players there, how we retain players, how we recruit. And you also look at what we've been doing in the first team. It's the last few windows you can see from before, the age we're recruiting is getting younger as well. So for us, we've been moving towards this. Liam, you would have seen, developed on his journey how we played when he started and how we were when we left. That intensity did improve, and for us, this is a logical step for us. Gerhard's got great experience in it. I don't have to tell you the way it plays. You can see from the stats and the games itself, and as he said, it's a really good match, and I'm really pleased we've managed to get it done.
And if I can get straight to the point, because a lot of fans will be asking about the summer and potential incomings, what kind of budget have you got to work with, and what can we expect in terms of the transfer window in this summer?
Yeah, you can expect more of the same. That's kind of what I'm saying, really. We've been recruiting a type of player that can play this way. So you should inherit a squad where they are ready for it. And it's the same. We will look to do what we've done before and improve it and continue to improve.
Just Gerhard, before I open the floor to everybody else, how much are you looking forward to meeting the squad of players when they return for pre-season training?
Yes, I'm very excited to come in touch with my players next week. We meet us for testing on the 25th, and of course, this is, I think, first of all the most important thing, to come in touch, come in a good conversation, and also with my staff. I think we will start with a hard work from next week on, and I'm very excited to come together with my players and my staff.
We wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi Gerhard, Ross Arna, ITV. Welcome to the West Country. First of all, your first experiences of Bristol. What have you made of it?
My first experience was with Barnsley. I can remember this game, and also the atmosphere here in the stadium was. It's. I think over whole England is always a good atmosphere and the style of play and the fans. But here in Bristol City is. It's special for me to be here and can bring hopefully the whole stands in a bouncing moment. So this is my final goal. But I'm very excited to come in touch with the fans.
I mean, you'll see when things are going well, they definitely do bounce around here. In regards to English football, what is it that's so special about it? You say you've got previous experience here. Why do you want to step back in?
I think English football, you can smell in every stadium special atmosphere, and you can feel also the quality from players here in the championship. And I would say the championship is the best second league maybe over the whole world. So the competition is very competitive. I would say the tactical plan, also the power from the coaching side is on a very high level. So in all directions, I think it's a big demand in me, in my coaching staff, in my players, to achieve in the end our goals, and this makes the whole situation, especially here in Bristol City, very sexy.
That's a good way to describe it, I think. Speaking about those supporters, give a bit of an insight. What kind of coach are you? What can they expect from you?
What can they expect from me? I'm a coach. I love it to have players on the field. They let everything on the field. They are brave in all moments. They are convinced how we want to come in our typical style of play. And our typical style of play is, of course, with a very good intensity, with a very vertical style. But also, in the end, we want control, we want domination, and this is, in the end, the way what we want to go and what we start middle next week.
Finally, for you, Gerhard, what's your ambition with this squad? Because you pick it up, like Rich said, having finished in the playoffs last year, pushing for the Premier League. That's what a lot of fans are always hoping for. What's your goal?
Yeah, I think they did a great job, of course, and they had a very successful season. So this is clear. And for me, so when you work with young players, it's always to work consistency on a good level. This is sometimes the challenge. And of course, my ambition is to do it on the same way or do it better. So we have to do it, I think, in more direction. To be creative, to be, of course, also in the detail very, very good in all four phases in the game, to plan and execute the training in a high detail direction, and then with an ambition group, with a very, very good energy between the players, with the staff, and of course with the supporters. This can help in the end to surprise the whole league.
And John, one for you, obviously. This might have been one of the most attractive propositions and opportunities for any coach on paper this summer. It must have been an incredibly sort of vigorous recruitment process, I can imagine.
Yeah, look, for us, we have the same sort of process with managers as we do with players. you don't talk about it very often because you've got somebody in post, but you'll be running right who could be next in line because you never know when, and we do that all the time, so that it's never something where, oh, this is going badly, we're having a look at a list over here. And Gerhard's right near the top of that list from all the stats that we look at and everything else, and everything's just a really good fit for us in terms of experience, wealth of knowledge, and the tactical approach and how it fits with the squad. That it's quite an easy decision for us.
And for the pair of you, just finally, what's your message to supporters ahead of the season?
Get behind us, enjoy it, and come on the journey with us.
Yeah, I think that was John say. It's super important that we have in the end the supporters behind us with all up and downs and push the boys in the right direction.
Thanks for your time. Best of luck here.
Hi Gerhard, I'm Christopher Mason from BBC Points West. Welcome to Bristol. It's been a few years since you've managed in the Championship. The culture obviously will be pretty familiar to you. That's kind of never changing in a good way. But the standard is now arguably quite a lot higher across the board perhaps than a few years ago. Lots more teams that are very competitive. And the players will obviously be different. Do you think, well, I guess really how will your previous experience in England help you at Bristol City?
Yeah, I think over the last few years, of course, coaching-wise, you grow, you learn like a player. Yeah, so also I develop my skills, my personnel skills, and I think especially when between many teams, and especially the Championship shows that in every single year. That you have to be top in the details, and and this always with a top energy in the group. So I think we need, of course, a clear tactical plan, and on the same time we need a top energy. And I think in this direction I will do everything with my coaching team, that we have a collective power what help us together with the supporters to go the next step, and this is, I think, my responsibility in this time.
I understand it may be possibly too early a question for day one, but how does this club get to the Premier League?
The question is very early. I think, of course, I think I am not a dreamer. I am a realistic man, but of course my goals are very high. And sometimes, and this is what I tell you. So we have the right energy. We have a very good plan, and we work very hard. In the end, of course, you need also a little bit luck. You need, in the end, momentum. Yeah, but we are ready for a next step. We do everything to grow with the team in our style of play, and then we will see what is the outcome.
And just one for John as well. The style of football that Gerhard is known for perhaps is pretty fashionable now as well. A lot more coaches are kind of going down that route. You've said that it's a it looks like it should be a really good fit. I just want to know a little bit more from you about how, really.
I mean, I don't want to get too into the technical part of it. That's not my role. But in terms of, I think the point I made before is something that the club's been working towards for a number of years. So, and I think what you're saying is right. Out of possession wise, certainly you get a lot more focus on it in the league now. I don't necessarily think you get the full part of it, what we're talking about here. But I mean, that's what we've built the squad and the club and everything else towards, is having that base of physical, athletic ability, essentially, to be able to cope with high intensity, because we see that as, that gives you your base, your floor. It gives you efficiency when you're retaining players in terms of academy. It gives you efficiency when you're out recruiting, because it just narrows your field right down. So, and therefore, it's the same when you're asking the questions of what we're doing in the transfer window. Well, it's not like we haven't been doing anything this summer, and it's the same as always. We wouldn't recruit players that the head coach doesn't want, but the reality is the players we're looking at, Gerhard should want, and vice versa, because the fit is so so neat in that sense. So that's what you're looking for, is you're trying to get an edge, and you're trying to have something. This isn't where we're bringing somebody in and you're having to flip everything over and you're worried. Yes, of course you have to settle and learn new things, and it takes time to bed that in, but it should be a good starting point.
Thank you. That's all from me.
Thanks.
Hi Gerhard, welcome to Bristol. Ron Walker from Sky Sports. You talked about the conversations that you held with John and Brian Senior. Can you give us a little bit more information about that? What led to how they sold the club to you and yourself to them, and what ended up with you sat here today?
Yeah, I think the most of the time, of course, we spoke about the style of play and also how the players can deal with that, and also how the stats tell us. So this was not only a romantical exchange. So this was, of course, in more directions, a very clear conversations. And my feeling was, in so many topics, we are so. We go so in the same line, so and this feels in the end logical wise clear for me, but also here, and sometimes that's is also not or it's very, very important. My feeling was from the first touch with all the conversations, so the clear plan from the club, how they want to go with and how they want to develop players. This is exactly the way what I like, and the DNA what the club has, what I have in my blood. This is very similar, and I think this makes my decision very easy.
I appreciate it's very early days, and the job has only been available for a couple of weeks. But how much do you know about the squads already?
I think I'm looking forward for the next week to come in touch with all the staff, the players, and then we will improve the one or other key. Yeah.
And Bristol, a lot gets said about the fact that Bristol has never had a Premier League team, a city the size of Bristol. You've got a top quality stadium, a top quality training ground. Does it feel a little bit like a Premier League club in waiting in some respects?
I can feel the Premier League is very near, but we should be, I think, we should know together how, and I think the experience in the last season show us that very clear, how hard is the way to promote. So we should be not thinking too much what could come. We have to do everything in the daily business on the right level, that we have in the end a good chance to get the next big step. But to speak about what could come, and I think this this could be other people's, but not me and my team. We do everything in every day that we have a realistic chance for more.
Thank you, John. Could I just ask you a little bit more about the process? Since Liam's departure, there's been names flying around. So how has it gone over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's been a pretty smooth process from my point of view. I mean, I spoke before, we're quite targeted in what we know we want. I think rumours around coaches is always wild, because if I was an agent, I would just put a few pounds on and you'd be on the top of the market. So it doesn't really tell you anything. I'd like to think people would know, certainly now, exactly what we'd be looking for. So it should make that a bit more simple. But from our point of view, we found out that Liam was going to Norwich, and then we've had a couple of Zoom interviews, and obviously the time it takes is then just logistical, because we're dealing with overseas. So.
And I think everyone would agree that Liam did a fantastic job last season. But was there an element of you wanting a little bit more academy involvement in the first team? Has that played a part in this appointment?
Yeah, it's an important part of the football club, and we're not shy about saying is we like to develop our own as well as trying to achieve on the pitch as well. And I think that's a real benefit of having that alignment that we spoke about. It's, you can see from previous, it's a passion for Gerhard as well, and the way he's been brought up in different jobs. So that's an added benefit, and yeah, it is a key part of the club. So it's a really good thing to see.
And you sort of touched on it already, but where will the structure sit in terms of those transfer movements in the summer? I mean, will it be led with sort of a final say coming from Gerhard, or will it be something different?
Yeah, I mean, that's the same as nothing's going to change in that sense. We've got the recruitment team technical director, the football side in that sense, and then we've always said there's no point recruiting someone that your head coach doesn't want because it doesn't work for anybody. I think what we're saying here is that on nearly all occasions, wherever the recommendation's coming from, you'd be very surprised if it wasn't a good fit because we're all looking for the same thing.
And when Liam took the job last time, you said that the playoffs was the aim. What's the message this time?
And it's the same, right? We're looking for continual improvement. It's a harder question now because we finished 6th last year, right? So you're asking me to in the next step. I mean, we had a fantastic season last year, right? We probably slightly outperformed our data, if you want to say that. So if we want to take the next step, we should be in and around where we were last season. And it's the same. We'll focus on what we can focus on in the now and the small improvements. And the reality is that should all add up, and you should improve year on year. But it's football, so that's why we love it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tristan Cork from Bristol Live and Bristol Post. Gerhard, can I just ask you, you've talked a lot about your style of play. Can I just ask you about your style of management and leadership? Because one of the clips of you, the last time you were here, when you were manager of Barnsley, that's been going kind of a bit viral, was when you got emotional in an interview at the end of the season after Barnsley stayed up. Is that you? Would you say you're kind of like an emotional guy? Do you more lead with your heart than your head, or is it? Can we expect to see you getting emotional here?
I think I am very authentic guy, I would say, in all directions. And when it's the moment, and especially with Barnsley, and I think I know which moment you mean, and when you realize over a whole season the goal, you achieve it in the end, then of course the emotion is free, and you can, and we can celebrate together, and I am of course I can show that, but I think I have a good balance between to show my emotion and to be very clear on the way. So, and I think this is important for the players. Of course, I am emotionally coach. At the same time, I am very clear with my decisions.
Can I just take you back a month or so? And just wanted to get an insight into the circumstances around your departure from Cologne, because they got promoted. But you left 2 games before the end of the season. Has that kind of spurred you on a bit to get a job finished here?
Yeah, first of all, I am super happy for my staff and for my team in Cologne that they promote in the end. So this was the goal, and I know with my staff which job we did over the whole season, with all the challenges, transfer ban, and all the things what we had. But of course, this was in this moment painful to realize. But in a world of a head coach, something happened. Sometimes, and especially this moment, surprised me and the whole team in a extremely level. But you have to accept that. And right now I am here, and I am super happy to have the next challenge for my chest, and can show what I can, and one more time, and so I'm looking forward with a completely new task, and I'm very happy to be here.
I've got a couple of questions for John. We asked on Twitter what questions we should be posing for you two, and I'm afraid to say most of them were for you, John. There was a few around the sort of the communication side. Is that something that's frustrated you? Because a lot of people were frustrated with, in the whole time that there was this bit of a long time that Liam was probably going to leave and then left, and then after that was there wasn't. I guess there wasn't much you could say. But is that something that you have kind of taken stock of and have thought about at all?
Look, it's different in different times, right? Sometimes you can say what's going on, sometimes you can't, and sometimes you can say something that doesn't say anything. That's the reality of where we've been. I get it as well, because you're in an off season for football and there's not a lot else to keep you going. But if you look at how it's happened, we are just over a couple of weeks since Liam's left. So in terms of that process, it's been relatively quick. I'd like to think the communication has improved. Certainly, end of January, trying to be as open and honest as possible. And in this window, it's just there hasn't really been anything to report. Obviously, we can't say anything with Liam until something's official, and same goes here, really.
Thank you. And there's still the question of Liam's backroom staff, the coaches here, and I wondered whether you could say anything, and either of you, about what's happening with them, or is Gerhard bringing more his people in, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, they're still employed by the football club as we stand. So I mean, it's up for Gerhard to come in and get to know his staff, same as the players, and work out if there's anywhere that needs improvement.
Thank you. Can I just get a little bit more insight as well in the interview process? Most of us, everyone would have gone for a job and sat down with somebody who's going to employ you. Was it a case of selling Bristol City to Gerhard, or were you at the same time kind of looking, assessing whether he was the right man as well? And just kind of how does that work in this strange situation where you're hiring a football manager?
So, I mean, in our sense, I think the initial conversation, which I wasn't part of, was us presenting to Gerhard about, this is what Bristol City Football Club is about, this is what we're looking for, this is why we're interested in talking to you. So that's more of a introduction to Bristol, to the football club. Here's the data, this is why we're interested. And I think it was very open, very quick, that both sides. Well, I think certainly from the other point of view, that I'm not sure if that's the way all interviews start. But it's just the way we operate. But you could see very quickly that there was an interest because the fit was good.
For you, Gerhard, did you presumably, having left Cologne, were looking around thinking, what am I going to do next? And then Bristol City come knocking.
Quite frankly, my feeling was much more. I wanted to take a break after Cologne, but when England are calling and Bristol City knock on the door, of course you thinking, and then I come in these conversations, and these conversations trigger me completely. So in a way, no, I jump back. And of course I have energy. I feel very, very good, and I let everything from the last club behind me with good learnings. And right now I'm here, and I have with John, with Brian, with my team together, a great chance to make with a very, very interesting team the next step.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions from the media. We've got Bristol City fans watching across the world, but delighted that we have one in the room today, Terry Hamlin, who's the secretary of the Bristol Sports Club and Trust. Terry, you're most welcome. On behalf of Bristol City fans, have you a message for Gerhard?
Thank you, Gerhard. Thank you. You'd be relieved to know that I'm not a journalist, going to put a load of questions, this and that. I'm just here. I'm Terry Hamlin, secretary of the Supporters Club and Trust, and we just, from all the fans in the Supporters Trust and the general fans, give you a warm welcome here. We're pleased that you've decided that you've worked out a deal to become manager, and we're sure all the fans, not only the Supporters Trust but the general fans all round, are very positive about your appointment, and we're fully behind you. We hope that if we can all work together, club, you, Gerhard, the fans, I'm sure there's a bright future in front of us all. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. And
Great stuff. Thank you, Terry, for those words. We have had some messages and questions from supporters, ranging from what's the best Austrian beer to have you ever tasted Thatcher's cider? But I'm going to start with some more serious one. This is from Tom. How does the intensity of the Championship compare to Bundesliga 2?
I would say also the Bundesliga 2 is in Germany on a very high level. So this you have in the end also many clubs they fight for promotion. You have clubs with big tradition. You have also a very good quality in the second league in Germany. I think this is similar like England, the championship, but the championship is. I would say this the smell of football is on a extremely highly level, and this makes the difference. I think you have to coach here that you know what does this mean. This is not so easy to explain. So to realize the football atmosphere in England with these stadiums, with the fans, with this is a feel. This is a feeling. It's not so easy to describe. It's special.
Thank you. Question from the exiled Robin, who's always kind of forthright in his views. So the exiled Robin has asked, you talk about young players and the pathway. How do you strike the balance between bringing those young players through, but also knowing you have to win key games and the pressure that brings on players at crucial points in matches and the season?
Yeah, I think this is a very, very good question. And in this direction, I have a lot of experience in the end with clubs. You have to realize results. Example, we have with Salzburg in the Champions League, a team we played away in Benfica Lissabon with the youngest team ever in the Champions League with under 23 team, and we won there. So, of course, you need anchor players, and we have a lot of great anchor players here in the team. But you have to be also brave in the one or other moment to send a young player on the field and give him trust and give him the belief he can do it on the right way. But I will say it again, what I tell you. No young player get a present to play and get the chance. He must deliver in the second team on a very, very good level. And when he trained with us, he must deliver and train. Nothing comes from the sky. The gift will not flying. So this means they have to deliver on a very, very good level. And then it's, from my side, the chance very, very high to get game time.
You mentioned at the start about giving everything else on the pitch. There's a question here from BSFC Footy Insight. What principles or non-negotiables do you expect from individuals? What is the basic you expect from your players?
The most important thing is for me when a player go on the field that he is convinced to let out his quality and think not in mistakes, so think in chances and let everything on the field. This is the most important thing, and in this direction a player must feel free to show it with freedom, with a good feeling and with trust, and trust helps a lot. This means not only for young players, this needs for the whole squad, and in this direction with my leader group we will bring the young players, of course, also in a good direction, but of course the most important is the team, and when the team works and the energy is good, then young players can good develop in this way.
And a question about the weather, because we love the weather. 35 degrees today. How does Bristol and the weather compare to New York or Cologne?
At the moment, the weather is indeed on a very good level. It surprised me. I am very impressed about this weather. I came yesterday from Ibiza, and it's no different to be between Bristol and Ibiza. But I know also the normal weather in England. Normally it's a little bit more rainy. We take it how it came, and the most of the time we have the best weather for the best football.
Fantastic. Thank you to City fans who've contributed. Thank you to the media today. John, Gerhard, we wish you all the best. Thank you everybody for watching.